Hi BookTube, my name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I am coming to you with a announcement video. So this is to talk all about TBR Bingo for 2022. So I just went with the name TBR Bingo. It seemed the easiest. My brain wasn't working enough to come up with something fun and creative, but yeah, I am really looking forward to this. So I'm going to check to see what hashtags might be available. I might do TBR Bingo 22, like for 2022. And then you guys, we can all share what we're reading and what we're doing for the challenge over the course of the year. So if you're watching this at the very, like when I'm posting it roughly at the very end of December of 2021, then you're going to get in at the beginning. However, if this is a video that you are finding later in the year, later in 2022, please feel free to still join us and jump in on the challenge. It's still fun. It's still, all is good. All is good. So essentially what this is, and to be completely transparent right from the get-go, this is an idea that I am borrowing very, very heavily from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And she is a floss tuber here on YouTube. She does videos, cross-stitch videos here on YouTube. And she created WhipGo a number of years ago. There's a huge Facebook group and there's a lot of people involved in it. And everybody gets excited about it. And I am actually participating in WhipGo for next year. But I kind of wanted to bring it to BookTube by doing this kind of TBR bingo. So essentially what it is, like what it started as for when Jessie Marie created this entire idea, was to finish outstanding works in progress, like crafting works in progress, essentially, whether that be cross stitch or whether that be knitting or a quilt that you're stitching, whatever. It was to get done crafting stuff. So in this scenario, it's to read books off of your TBR. Read books that you already own in some way, shape, or form. Whether that be physical, digital, audio, NetGalley books. Like if you got a bunch of NetGalley books that you want to get through, create a board. So here is what the board looks like. This is a Google Sheet that I created. I am going to make this sheet available to all of you. So the link will be in the description box below. Change the colors around. I just made mine purple because I think it's pretty, but you can of course change it to whatever color you want. Of course, mine says Sarah's, what does it say? I have the actual sheet. Sarah's 2022 bingo board. You can change it, put your name on it. You don't have to use this at all. You can, if you are one of those people who do bullet journaling, or you have a reading journal or what have you, create your own little, it's essentially a 5x5 square. That's it. It's a bingo board. It's bingo, but it's not bingo. Like, I'll get into it. So you've got 25 spaces. So you've got two ways that you can do this. You can either put a book in all 25 spaces, or you can only pick 24 spaces. So essentially the dead center space would be free. And I believe I have it marked saying as free, as the free space on this card. So you'll see that as free. You can put a book in there if you want. That's entirely up to you. That's your decision. It's however you want to challenge yourself. You can also do more than one board. Side note, you guys, I'm actually going to be doing 2 of these boards in 2022. So I will talk more about my boards personally when I get to my 2022 reading goals and stuff like that. I will talk about both of mine. But this is just kind of an overall layout for you guys to set your own up. So essentially what's going to happen is it's going to be numbered. So you're going to go from like top, I don't know how I'm looking at this, top right, under the B. The first row under the B, you're going to go across and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for numbers. I don't have the numbers in here. You guys can write them in however you want. Then you go down the next row, back under the B again, and go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then under the B again, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say, right? I will probably, you know what, that's what I'll do is I will put the numbers in on the board that you guys can download. So the numbers will be there. You can just delete them. So it's up to you. And if you decide to print this off, you can just white it out or something like that. I don't know. So anyway, that is that. So what else did I want to say? So essentially the way that this is going to work is that every month on the 26th of the month, I am going to do a very quick little video here on my channel, 2 minutes long, just announcing the numbers for the next month for TBR Bingo. So what will happen is that, for example, next Sunday on the 26th of December, I am going to do a video announcing the numbers for January. So what I'll do is a random number generator. I will pick 2 numbers between 1 and 25, and those will be the numbers that get called for the month of January. So the goal is, the ultimate goal is to read those 2 books in January, but you don't have to. And this is where it gets kind of fun. And this is where I think it gets fun because I feel like this takes the pressure off of you, like being like, I have to read these books in January. You might not be feeling that book at that time. You might be wanting to save that book, maybe thinking, oh, I'm going to put this book on my TBR Bingo board, but it's one that would really fit so well for nonfiction November or middle grade March or March Mystery Madness or something like that. So, don't feel like you have to read those books in that month. Essentially, along with the bingo board and all those things, there's also kind of four ways that you can fill it in, essentially. So I'm going to put that little graphic up here. And this will be included in this download that you guys have. This will be along the side. There will be this little kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Gosh, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Like a color key of some kind. So if you choose to just use this sheet and you can just highlight in the different colors the status of those individual squares. So there are 4 different ones that can be used, these 4 different color keys, if you will. So the first one is just a plain white square. It's got your book title in it, but there's no highlight in it. It's just a plain white square. And that one is for a book that has not been called. So the number has not been called and the book has not been read. So that is kind of like, it's open. Nothing has happened to that yet. Whatever. The next one down, which is just the next, like the lightest color purple, is not called, but read. So essentially, as I was just saying, let's say that in spot number 1, you have a Babysitter's Club book, for lack of a better suggestion. So you have a Babysitter's Club book in there, and that number 1 hasn't been called yet. But then all of a sudden, middle grade March happens, or middle grade May, and that number still hasn't been called, but you're like, that would be a great book to read for middle grade March. So I'm going to go ahead and read it now. So you're reading it ahead of the number being called. So you can go ahead and read it. Do whatever you want. These are your boards, right? But now you can color code that to show that, no, that number hasn't been called yet, but I have read that book already. So there you go. So the next the middle purple color is called but not read. So again, let's say spot number 2 is Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Doty. Again, just because I just read it and I really loved it, which is a nonfiction book, right? So that's in your spot number 2. And you want to save that book for nonfiction November. Fantastic idea, by the way. And you want to save that book for nonfiction November. But let's say in March, I call number 2. So you're like, oh, but I don't want to read it right now. So you could color it that middle purple color saying that that number's been called, but I haven't read that book yet. Does that make sense? Okay. And then the final, the darkest purple color, is that the number has been called and now the book has been read. So we'll go back to that first one, that book that you read for middle grade March in spot number 1 that I hadn't called yet by March. So now it's like July, and guess what number gets called? Number 1. Well, you've already read the book. Great. Now you can highlight it dark purple. So the goal is to get all of the squares except for the free space, unless you choose to use the free space, dark purple, right? So the whole bingo part of it that comes in is what you want to do is get a bingo. You can challenge yourself however you want. I've seen a lot of crafters kind of put these goals towards themselves. Like perhaps they're looking to buy some expensive, maybe light that they want to use for their crafting. And so every bingo that they get, they're putting $20 into their gift fund to buy this special light. Or maybe when they get a bingo, they're allowing themselves to buy a new pattern. But for us, it could be like, you get a bingo, oh, I'm going to put $20 towards, a year-end shopping expedition for myself to go buy some books. or I'm going to treat myself to that new hardcover book if I get a bingo. So the goal is to get a bingo is to have the entire row in dark purple or in the darkest color, essentially. The called and read section of the TBR bingo, if that makes sense. So a bingo, of course, can be straight down, it can be across, or it can be vertical. Or you can just go for the blackout and be like, for every book that you read, you put $5 into a gift fund for yourself. At the end of the year, what's that? If you read 25 books, that's a good amount of money. I don't math off the top of my head, 125 bucks. That's not too shabby. If you did like $5 a book. You don't have to go that expensive, guys. I'm just offering suggestions. Do with it as you will. So what about spot number 13, you're asking? Because there's 12 months in the year, and I'm only calling 2 numbers per month. So for spot number 13, 13 is special. So the month that 13 gets called, like the month that 13 comes up, I will still be picking 2 other numbers. Because some of us, like myself, are not putting a book in spot 13. So it's just kind of an extra. When 13 gets called, you can now mark that free spot off on your bingo board, you know, as the dark color, called, read, whatever, right? Because you don't have a book for it. So the number's now been called and it's done, right? Or if you put a book in there, you can read that book or whatever. But whatever month number 13 gets called, the other 2 numbers, there are 2 more numbers will get called as well. So that's how that is going to work. So like I said, you guys can fill this with books however you want. My thought process on it at the beginning, like I said, was to get books off of your TBR. Again, whether that be physical, whether that be digital, audio, NetGalley books that you want to read. Maybe you want to work your way through like a bunch of different series. So you're going to put the next book in series on here. However you want to do it. But I am so interested to see how you guys are going to do this. If you do a video, let me know. If you post it on Instagram, please let me know. Again, I will hashtag, I think I'm going to use the hashtag like hashtag TBR Bingo 22 to denote that it's 2022. So that's kind of the whole thing about TBR Bingo. I hope this made sense. Like I said, I will list this below. I'll give you guys the Google Doc sheet so you guys can play with it as you will. Change the font, you know, print it off, type your own stuff in, do whatever, make it your own. You know, maybe get a screenshot of it and post it on Instagram. That would be super awesome. I'd love to see that too. I'm going to share with you guys my bingo boards, like I said, in my 2022 goals video that's going to be coming at the end of the month. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, I hope you guys are excited about this. If you have any questions, because I guarantee you I wasn't clear. I was trying to remember everything I wanted to tell you, but sadly, I did not write all the things down. So if you have any questions, please, please, please post them below. And until my next video, everybody, take care and happy reading. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye, guys.